What's going on, guys? So today we're going to try to get the motor put together for the turbo minivan. We made quite the mess trying to clean some things up, but we got all the parts pretty much cleaned off. We have like this windage tray right here to put on, the oil pump, the the main seal housing. I don't know what you call this piece, but we got to get all this stuff put together first before we can throw the head on it. So I'm going to start with putting that windage tray on, and then putting the oil pump on, putting the main seal on, and then putting the oil pan on, and then we'll be able to assemble all this stuff over on this side. There's things that have to do with the timing belt, and then we'll be able to flip it over, put the head on, and get that torqued down. And yeah, then from there we'll put the clutch on and transmission and flywheel, stuff like that. But for right now, I want to show you guys, some of you guys in the comments were complaining that I didn't put the oil squirters back in, which is these guys right here. So these are like factory, and they kind of squirt up under the pistons. They just shoot oil at the bottom of the pistons to help cool them off, I guess. But a lot of you guys were saying like, oh, don't forget to put those in. But I did go buy a plug, and this is where these normally go. And I'm just gonna plug that off completely. This is what I did on my hatch. So I think a lot of people, when you run aftermarket like forged pistons, they just get rid of the oil squirters completely. So I don't think I should need them anymore. It's working good on the hatch, and yeah, just gonna close that off completely, and I actually think it will bump the oil pressure up a little bit. So I'm gonna get that tightened down, and then we'll get this windage tray on, then we'll get the oil pump on, and just go from there and start getting everything assembled. I'm getting the oil pump in right now, and this right here is the balance shaft, and I do have the balance shafts in there. I just don't run the belt, which I'll show later on. They do make like I think K-Tune makes a delete kit for them, but I ain't doing none of that. I just leave them in there. But you have to leave the balance shafts, because if you don't, you'll lose like all your oil pressure. So I just leave them in there. There goes. She is. Sweet. I torque them down to whatever this electric ratchet goes.
It's like a nugget tugger. Yep.
It's like a mini ugga.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one under there. About 4 Milwaukee electric ratchet uggas. Go as tight as you can until it doesn't strip. That's the best.
Until you hear like a little resistance, and then that's it.
Once you feel it, you're done. Those are good. She's not going nowhere. All right, just got the main seal on, just getting her all tightened down. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet or not, but we did put a new main seal on right here, and then we also put a new seal on the oil pump, which is the seal that goes around the other side of the crank. I don't know what it's called, but we got new seals. So hopefully she don't leak.
Oh, bro, you just
knocked over my bolts.
You just goofed.
All right, so we got the oil pan on, and I'm gonna try to do it in under 20 seconds with the electric ratchet. Let's go, hit the timer. Tell me when.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Yeah, dude, this thing's like dead.
Bro, hurry up.
Oh no!
No!
It's so dead. Oh, dude, it's dead, it's dead. Oh, what's my time? It's dead.
No, you suck. It was
28 seconds.
Yeah, you lost.
It was still fast, though. Now I gotta go and like manually do them. Make sure they're all good. This thing is just like dead. Right there. Made in Japan. This is the 2,211th water pump ever made. That's exactly what that number means. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't take that seriously.
That's so sketchy.
Oh, they're good. Trust.
I don't trust 10 minutes.
I've done a couple of them. She's good. She's ready to pump some water. All right. Put that on there. All right, there's the hammer at. Oh, that hurts so bad. Ow.
Dude, I heard. I felt the pain.
Oh, dude, it's making me bleed like through under my skin.
Yeah.
Ow, dude, I've never done that. That was stupid.
That was gnarly.
Ow. Let's try this again without smashing my finger in. This goes on. Like that, and then I'm gonna stop there until we get the timing belt on, and then I'll put the crank pulley on. But I can still slip the timing belt up under that. Actually, no, I can't. We don't even need to put this on yet. We have to wait for the belt before we do this one. So that means we have to put the head on, and then we can do all the timing belt stuff. All right, so we just got our head studs in. They're just, you know, hand tight, and we're gonna throw the head gasket on. And then we did also clean off the bottom of the head, and we cleaned off the surface of the top of the block right here. Make sure it's all nice and clean. I like to catch on the threads a little bit. All right, so she's good. Make sure it's not backwards or nothing. And then I'm gonna grab the dowel pins out of the head and actually put those in first, and then we'll set the head down on it. But I just like to make sure that everything's all lined up. All right, now the head is ready to go on.
One last look.
One last look at those shiny pistons. They do look really nice. But it's about to get all sealed up.
Wobble it up here a little bit. It's not fit on the dial pin. There it is.
There she goes. All right, now I just gotta get the washers and the nuts tightened down. She'll be ready to go. All right, so now that we got the head all torqued down, we're gonna throw the cams on like so. Put a little bit of silicone under the cam seals just to help keep those from leaking. I was gonna get some new ones, but I didn't bother with it. Like so. Then we just gotta put the caps down, and I am going to use that a different cap from the one that was broken that I found. So if you guys watched where we did the head, the video on that, this one right here was all broken off, and it's missing this whole mount right here for the distributor. So I want to use the new one, and I'm just going to check it with plastic gauge. So I'm just going to clamp everything down with a piece of plastic gauge right there, and I'm also going to put a piece of plastic gauge on this one just to have something to compare to. And as long as it's not too tight, we should be good. So that's what I've been told, and I'm just going to send it because, yeah, this one's just completely busted, and we need that extra distributor mount right there. So it should be all right. All right, so we got all the cam caps torqued down. They did plastic gauge out all right, or at least this one on the end did. It was just a little tighter than this one over here, but I was told as long as the camshaft still spins freely and it's not, you know, like catching or really hard to turn over, that it will be all right as long as it's not too tight. And it does still spin freely, which is good. And like I said, it pretty much had the same specs as that one, so I'm not worried about that cap being too tight. So we're gonna get these lined up right now, and to do that, there's this little arrow on each camshaft, and you just have that pointing up like that, and then there's these little notches on the side of each camshaft as well. You just want those to be level with the head right there. And once you get those set to where they need to be, I'm gonna come down here and set the timing for, this is pretty much top dead center. And the only reason I was turning the cams earlier is because I knew none of the pistons were all the way up. You wanna make sure you're careful before you turn any of the cams in case one of the pistons is at top dead center, the valves will hit on it. But I knew they weren't right now, so I wasn't worried about turning the camshaft over. But now I will have to be careful about it because I'm gonna be setting the #1 cylinder to top dead center. And to do that, you just turn this gear right here. It's pretty easy on the H series. There's a little dot on this gear that goes to the timing belt, and you just line that tooth up with this little arrow on the oil pump. I just barely went too far right there, just like that. Now that that is set, I'm going to put the KS tune tensioner that we got on, which is right here. This is just held on with 2 bolts. This will go up under there, and then this will be pushing on this pulley right here, and that's gonna set the tension on the timing belt. And this right here, the only thing that holds this on is just this 1 bolt at the top. Since I'm not gonna be running the belt for the balance shafts, I don't need any of the crap that goes in here. Normally it has this bolt that fits right in there, and then this acts as like a tensioner for the balance shaft belt, which would go, you know, something like this, something like that, and then we have this big gear right here that also is part of it. But I'm not running this belt at all. I just have the balance shafts in there so the oil pressure stays up. But we still need to use this gear as well because it is a spacer for this gear right here and helps hold the timing belt in place. But yeah, so now that we got all that done, we can throw the timing belt on after the tensioner's on, take this bolt back off, and then once the belt's on and the tensioner's on, this pulley will go on right here, and then the or this gear will go on, and then the crankshaft pulley will go on right after that, and then we can tighten everything down and the timing belt will be ready to go. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so we got the timing belt on, everything's nice and tight, everything's all lined up. And that's pretty much as far as we're gonna get for tonight on this motor. We were gonna try to get the transmission bolted on, you know, get the flywheel on, put the clutch on, and get the tranny on, but we kind of ran out of time, and I still have to steal the flywheel off the block that we got from the junkyard because that's the only flywheel I have right now for an H22. And there's still a couple things I need to do to the flywheel before I put it on, which I'll show, you know, probably tomorrow, get all that stuff done. But this is as far as we're gonna get for tonight, but the motor is pretty much all the way together, guys. So right now we just have the crank pulley resting on there just for looks, but we will be putting the cover on, which goes right here pretty soon. That will go, you know, you guys get the idea. That will go like that, and then the pulley goes there. And then we will be putting on everything else. We also got the valve cover. Throw that on there, looks really sweet. We also just have the intake just resting on there, also just for looks, but yeah, it's definitely coming together. The motor is all the way put together, so I'm getting really excited. It's looking sweet, and I cannot wait. This thing's gonna have the same powertrain as my hatch in a freaking minivan. Like, it's gonna be bad. So tomorrow we're gonna try to get the flywheel put on and the clutch, and then get the tranny on there, and you know, try to get the mounts on. And I would love to try to get this thing, you know, dropped into the motor, or dropped into the van, I mean, you know, sometime this weekend. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it, but if we can get it resting in there within the next couple days, that would be like my goal. That would be awesome. But I still need to, you know, research some of the shift linkage stuff and figure all that out before I drop this in, because it might be easier, you know, to drill holes and stuff for the shift linkage before the motor's in there. But I'm gonna try to get all that figured out as fast as I can. And yeah, I just want to get this thing going and running ASAP, because it's so close, and I cannot wait. So yeah, there's definitely going to be more to come on this thing tomorrow. We made a huge mess that we got to clean up, but I think we definitely got pretty far for today. So motor's all the way together, and that's a wrap for tonight, guys. So hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.